Well, howdy, fellas. Elder Ufgood here. Welcome back to ANTTS episode 8. Last episode, we left you off with getting teased about bees, and that's exactly what we're going to be working on. Matter of fact, if we look at the quests, we didn't even finish the honey generator, which is an optional quest, but a quest we need to complete nonetheless. We might actually be able to finish this really quickly. That should be fairly easy to finish. However, we need to get into bees. And with getting in bees, we have another problem. And that's, well, the queen has arrived. And she brought her henchman. And I guess her mobile home? I don't know. Small bit of an invasion here. But I think that's really cool. What makes this really cool, oopsie, is this. Ha! I am ready to actually fill this thing out and flush it into a fully working automated beehive. For the queen, you know, because she deserves it. I swear we're all in like some kind of face-off, but that's such a cool build. I took I took inspiration from several builders online to get this the way I like it, and I think it looks pretty cool. But without further ado, Biggie's ground is getting bigger. Yeah, I ran into the auto-crafting problem. The auto-crafting problem is when you are crafting one big one and you need one small craft to do something else because you're busy. Wait a minute. Did I fix? Oh, I did make those different. I kind of like it. Never mind. All right, so getting into bees. Alrighty, so I think we're going to go ahead and see if we can complete this. I'm too big for that. Sorry. What am I missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I knew the honey essence was a good idea. And just like that, honey generator is complete. Now, if you noticed, I've got a couple cards up here, some acceleration cards and some induction cards. I need to fix this down here. This is about capped out. I need to add one more in. Right now I've got it anchored, so it can't touch. But I need this to be a dense as well. But I can't make it a dense. So I can only take 8 channels in from that side. So yeah, I'm capped out there. Unless I was to break this one, disconnect from here. Let me try something real quick. Alrighty, so I was able to clean it up a little bit and get an extra crafting thingy-majigger assembler. You know the thing. I don't know what it's called. I'm a Neanderthal. I just do things. And I did get wireless connectors all plumbed in. So I had plenty of room in one. I've got 2 spots left. Now I have another full set, and I'm future-proofed for another one, which is going to bother me because with the offset of 1, I don't know. We'll see what's going on. I might extend the platform. I don't know. Excuse me. Sir. Sir. Get back in the pasture. Come on. Get back in the pasture. What are you doing up here? You want that honey, don't you? It's not real honey. Get back in there. Get back in there. All right. Let's get back on track here. Let's go to the bees. Well, first we'll do that. Let's get into productive bees. So to get your own bee farm going, we'll have to find some bees and capture them. I was just going to put it all in one icon words. Right-clicking a bee with this will capture it. Adventuring can also get you some sturdy bee cages, so keep an eye out. Yes, so regular bee cages are one-time use, sturdy bee cages multi-use. We're also going to get into our first beehive using the vanilla method. Go ahead and make yourself a beehive to have your own little setup. These can hold 3 bees each, but we won't be using it for long. Bees will only create honey and honeycombs if they have the right flowers. Vanilla bees can use any flower, but most bees in this mod will require a specific block. Make sure to check JEI. Definitely will. And with the vanilla beehive, we'll use this to craft the advanced beehive. It can be oak or any kind of wood. Bees will fly in and out of these and drop off honeycombs in its inventory. You can also insert glass bottles to get honey bottles. We'll need a lot of honeycomb for treats. Most definitely. The expansion boxes are placed on top of your advanced beehives to increase the amount of bees so that can be in the hive to a total of 5 slots. I told you it's gonna be a rough one today. Furthermore, they allow for the hive to support upgrades, which is really, really important. These are all the upgrades over here. The feeding slabs, you can place the bee flowers on any slabs that are placed in front of the hives as shown in the image below. And you can also double stack these, so you can place one under. So if you've got one bee that can do 5 different outputs, you can put 5 different feeding inventories. Yeah. Centrifuges. The centrifuge is used to process combs from the bees of useful items and honey. While you can definitely just use a regular centrifuge in the beginning, getting a powered centrifuge soon after is a must. This is a faster centrifuge that runs off of power. We will be getting into that. Hence the induction card. If you're looking for the best way to process your combs, the heated centrifuge is even faster and processes comb blocks instead of combs. These can be made faster by using speed upgrades, which we will definitely get into. So I'm just going to follow straight down until we can get into the honey street and unlock everything. I think that'll be fair enough. Let me get all this on the list. So let's go ahead and get into this. This should be fairly simple. Look at that. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put that on a pattern. We'll get the honey block. Also, if y'all know why my molecular assemblers are separated, even though they are on the same exact channel, the same wireless connector, and I got them running down, all on dense, so it doesn't get separated. Yeah, if you could just let me know why that's an issue, I'd greatly appreciate that. I'm gonna need a lot of beehives, so why don't I just go ahead and program all of this real quick. Alright, I think I got everything else programmed in. Let's get this started. So for completion's sake, in my inventory, advanced. Let's do the expansion. Uh-oh. There we go. Okay, now just a few more items and we'll have everything done. Alright, with this stuff, go ahead and turn in all of this nonsense. I said I was going to go straight down, however, I kind of missed this. Do hives annoy you when they drip? If so, you're in luck because there's an easy solution. You can place a sponge in a bottle slot of an advanced hive to stop it from dripping. That's actually useful, but how do we get sponges? And if I'm looking... Smelting a wet sponge. How do we get a wet sponge? Isn't that, mob drops? I don't need that. From a sponge bee. How do we get a sponge bee? We gotta go fishing. Okay. Well, we gotta do lots of fishing anyway. I gotta get now a sponge bee just so I can get sponges. But I also gotta get started on some water bees so I can get into my bee production line. So I think that's what we'll do. Let's get a fishing. We'll just go simple fishing. Right, so with the water bee, this bee is only found when fishing in rivers. Now, being a skyblock, it's a little hard to find a river. I did find one, though. I don't know if you actually need it because it is a skyblock and biomes don't exactly exist. But, yeah, check it out. I'm in a river. So, I'm going to do some fishing. Like I said, hopefully I can at least get some water bees. And because it's a skyblock, I'm not sure if I can get lucky with all the other ones, like the getting a sponge bee or the Patrick bee, an oily bee. I want to say you can get it all without having to go to the different biomes, but I can't be for certain. Also, how cool is that? It's going to look great. I'm going to stand this way so I can check out my island while I'm fishing. Well, I made a mistake, and the mistake was... Well, it's not really a mistake. I can handle it. But in order to get some of these bees, I should probably... There's a certain thing that you really want to get, and that is the bee helmet. It is able to go into a curio slot. It only requires a diamond helmet and a bee nest. The hardest way to get a bee nest is to harvest that one. Let me see if I can get Silk Touch real quick. I decided to go ahead and go with a, oh, that's an alloy smelter. I decided to go with a Paxel. And honestly, I think it's just... Like this will get you Silk Touch. And then you can come over to a smithing... No. I'm sorry. Where's my anvil? Clearly, I don't have an anvil. Let me grab one. Oh, there it is. You guys will be fine. You just may fly around for a little bit. You know what's perfect about this is I already have the diamond helmet. We'll slap that on our head slot, and now we don't have to worry about bees. Specifically the kamikaze bee, because that's where we're gonna have the issues. Now I'm gonna sleep this off. I'm gonna fish. I'll bring it back as soon as I catch my first bee. Woohoo! Hey, come back here. You are a prismarine bee. Not what I wanted, but still pretty cool. Okay, getting really lucky with the prismarine bees, but I need some water bees, guys. What in the world are you? You're a water bee. Yay! Woohoo, there we go. I believe that was the last water bee I needed. Alright, we're going to give this a shot. Decided I'm going to go ahead and do Luck of the Sea 3, Lure 3, Unbreaking 3. And I'm done with this one. I'm not having any luck with the fishing rod that I want. Or the fishing rod that just get out of here. Hooray, that was my last one. I've got an idea for you guys. All of you guys. I'll be back for you. Alright, with catching our bees, now we need to get them set up outside, and I think I'll just let them roam in here. Well, not really roam, but alright, definitely make sure you want to grab yourself some leads. I only need 5. The only thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a water bee. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me! What? Guys, what is going on? Why are you... Okay, it's been a while. I haven't spent any time with you. Give me a second. Let me get some bees down. Take a bee. And right now he's diurnal. He's weather tolerance of any, and that's why I wanted to get the water bee. We need to make sure he goes meta-urnal. Nocturnal, then meta-urnal. Not worried about his productivity. Excuse me. You can just relax over here. And if you get one with the silly name, Splashy Bee, it's still a water bee. The flowers ain't doing anything. It just makes me feel better about it. And we just let them sit and relax, and hopefully they'll turn meta-urnal. I only need 2 of them, but I got 5 just in case. Because they will take damage, and if I don't make it over here to feed them, it might turn into a problem. Which, by the way, what you feed them with is honey treats. That's kind of expensive, is it not? Yes, that is actually quite annoying. So in order to solve that problem, if you put it in a pattern, because of this, I don't know if I have glass bottles. Doesn't look like it. But if you set this to an autocraft, it will take the headache out of all of this. So now when you go to get a honey treat, you can say, can I get, I don't know, 100 of those? Alrighty, while these guys are doing their thing and getting their meta earnal, I need to get into high productivity. And the best way to do that is the kamikaze bee. Luckily, the best way to get the kamikaze bee is with this bee nest helmet right here. Angry bees won't attack you. That was what I wanted. The other thing is 30% chance to spawn a kamikaze bee when hit. Now these little suckers are hard to catch, and I need about 10 of them. But I have an idea, and I think this might work. If I look at just dire things for a simple clicker. Maybe an advanced clicker. Let's... Advanced clicker from just dire things. That's not a hard build. Wow. Okay. I'd also like to get me, like... There we go, perfect. A stack of bee cages. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can go away, you can go there. Alright, this is a perfect time. We got the sun coming up. So it'll allow me to go ahead and set this area up. I need you guys to... Don't hit me, please. Don't hit me, please. I'm not ready to... Gosh darn it. I wasn't ready for it. There we go. All right. What I want to do... I just want to set up the clicker there. You're going to need power, huh? At this point, I should tell my system how to do this. Alright, let's give it a little bit of power here. Now this, I want to render the area. And I need to make it as 4. I think I'm going to make it as big as possible. I want to make it as extremely fast. That's plenty of space. The reason why this thing is incredibly fast. And if I set this to now target passive, no. Is it passive? I think it's going to be adult. I think it's going to be adult. We're going to right click with the bee cage. We can render this off. And I just got to wait till nighttime hits so this thing can start spawning and attacking me, and yay! Bees! Actually, while we wait for it to get dark, because it might take a while, or it might just be me being impatient, I want to look up. Oh, most excellent. Can I make that? I can. Oh, even better. Let me get this all set up. I'll show you how cool this thing is. Oh, that was instant, wasn't it? Oh my goodness. Yes. All right, so the easiest way to do this is we needed another crafting. Or a terminal. Alrighty, so this is going to be quite simple as soon as this comes in. My gosh, I'm so glad I set up auto crafting for this. I actually am mistaken. I don't need the IMI controller. That's because where I'm going to put it, I just don't need it. Need tons of gold nuggets. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up here on the backside of the Queen's Crown. See? Device online. What? Oh, hold on. There we go. So you take your matter cannon, and you place it in here, and then you just stick all your gold in there. Until it can't hold anymore. Let me get a little bit more, I'll fill it up, and then I should be ready for take on the night. And there it is. That's all she'll hold. But now I have my ranged weapon of choice, which makes it really easy for when this gets a little hairy over here. Oh, this is a great time to be over here. And you guys are too far. But now I don't have to touch you. Since when can the matter cannon break blocks? Clearly, there's a setting that I need to fix. But now with these guys, check this out. Hit me! Don't blow up, please. Matter of fact, let me just get rid of the creeper. Now, hit me! Nope, no witches. This is why I wanted the matter cannon. Hit me! Oh, it's getting hairy, it's getting hairy. Hold on there. Okay, so far I've gotten 4 kamikaze bees. Ooh, but I need some milk. Sweet, I'm done. So that doesn't take that long. And how you guys doing? You're nocturnal. You're meta-ernal. Oh my. Well, you're now mine. Alrighty, while we're waiting for these guys to keep doing what they're doing, there's one last thing that we need to get set up before we get into more actual bees. The setup alone just takes so long. Now you understand why it came its own episode so far. I need the acceleration cards and induction cards, and that's because the way that I'm going to set this up is going to be through in here, probably back here, separated from this grid. I might have it on its own grid. what I want to do is set up my bee breeder 9000. It is incredible. It is incredibly easy. And so the last thing I need for that is acceleration cards, just because I need them. But I need the induction cards because I need to send power to said machines. Alright, so if we're going to take a look at the induction card, we're going to need a flux accessor and a basic card. We're going to need lots of this, so I'm going to program all of this. It's just going to make my life a lot easier. Got the blank patterns, we need flux accessors, which means... Oh. Yeah, this is going to be a pain in the booty. And just like that, I can now get induction cards, which is very, very necessary. The last thing I want to grab, not necessary. Hold on, I remember to plug this one in. Alright, should be able to just... These are crafts. And this one... Reaction chamber. Alright, let's get a couple of induction cards, like 10. Oh, I forgot I needed that. Alright, honestly, I kind of forgot that I have to do this. I think if I just do one, it does 64. Excellent. I forgot I have to do this manually, just because I'm not going to put another inscriber on my system, even though I might be able to... How many channels are coming off of here? 5, eh? Yeah, let me just put another inscriber. Alright, that should be all I need to grab me an induction card. Is it just going that slow? It is. That's what that's for. I'm not sure what was broken in that recipe. I want to try that again. I know what's broken. You are not set to auto out. Yep, that's what the problem was. And just like that, I got those ready to roll. All right. I think my next step is to... Well, let's check my bees one more time. Yes, sir. We have another contender. You're another meta Ernal. Perfect. We are about ready. I'm going to craft all of this stuff up here. I'm going to get all of this crafted. Well, these 5 machines. And then I'm going to bring you back to where we can start working on the Bee Breeder 9000. Alrighty, I finally got us back into the beehive. I love this thing. And the only thing I've done was cleared out a small section because I want this to remain separate from this. And it'll make more sense later. I'm going to have 2 different managers working this area. The first thing I want to do, is get in my, what I call the Bee Breeder 9000. I've only placed in a little bit of the AE that I'm going to need. The rest of it is all of this wonderful stuff here. We'll start with this thing, the Factory Manager from Super Factory Manager, along with the inventory cables. These are already placed in. Like I said, I was future-proofing earlier. With this thing, a couple of inventory cables, the ME interface, a barrel there, and some more stuff. It's going to make the ultimate bee breeding station. So if I recall, I need to get my inventory cables in here, 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 and here. And I think that's all I needed. However, I did forget some levers, so let me remedy that real quick. I need a gene indexer with a lever. That'll be turned on, but we're going to worry about that later. Then we have another barrel. These can be any size. My main thing is if I ever turn this on and it gets to be out of control, I have a pretty big buffer before it hits my system. Or, well, yeah. I'll have a... Either way. There's going to be a redstone clock here, but for the time being, I need to ignore it because I don't want to hear it. We have a dispenser there. And you know what I forgot? I forgot a piston. And the piston we want... Nope. Facing down. With a lever on this side. Now this is where it gets really fun. Bottler. We're going to need to do some trapdoors. I prefer the... Alright, now... had to come back over here. Get my special trapdoors. I believe... You can just do it just like that, and there's no issues. Alright, now if I recall... I do have some stuff that needs to go in front of here, but I believe back here I can do powered centrifuge? Yes, power centrifuge. Before I forget, I want to make sure I put my item collector there. And pretty much we need to render this whole area. That should work. Alrighty. And then in front here, now we grab our baby incubators. We're going to need our breeding chambers. And I think just like that. So on this one, nope, got these backwards. You want to put the breeding chamber on this side, the baby incubator on this side. That right there is besides the clock. We're missing the clock and we're missing a few pipes. So if I grab 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to pipe to here, and pipe here to here. Those have to be inventory pipes. There are some item and MBT data that we need to filter in order for this to work correctly. Alrighty, so in order for this to work correctly, we're going to need a couple things. We're going to need the factory manager program disk, and we're going to need the label gun. These two things are very important for how this system actually manages and controls all data. However, in this disk, you're going to come in here. It's missing a disk in your factory manager. This is where your disk is going to go. Right now, there is no program. It's running at 0 milliseconds. This is where you're going to come in, and this is where you're going to program everything. Now, I do have the code, and I will have the code available for download on my Discord. Link is in the description. So go ahead, and if you want to use it, go ahead and grab it. With this code, I'm not gonna sit here and make you watch me type it. I'm a terrible typer. I'm gonna just copy it over. I'll paste it in and I'll explain it a little bit. So this is the Bee Breeder 9000. We are going to have an energy loop for every one tick. For every one tick, it's going to take energy from the ME interface. It's going to insert it to the breeding chamber, the baby incubators, the centrifuge, and the incubator 100. I'll explain that. Those are all of the labels that need to happen. Then you have your breeding chamber. Every 20 ticks, you're going to take a bee cage from the ME interface, which means I need to have bee cages on autocraft for this to work. This one says sunflowers. This is from my ATM world. This is actually... We're going to do rose bushes. So we're actually going to change this from sunflower. Hopefully it's just rose bush. We're going to take those from the interface. We're going to put those to the breeding chamber. 64 at each slot, 3 and 4. Every 20 ticks, we're going to take a bee cage from the breeding chamber, and we're going to place it to the baby incubator. Take honey treats from the system, so we need to know how to make honey treats. Put it into the incubator. The bottler needs to know how to make bottles. And yeah, right here, that's the bottles. Up here, this is an if-then. If the bottle has equal to or less or greater to and greater or equal to, I can speak, 1 glass bottle, then it can take the bee cage and put it in the dispenser from the baby incubator. And then it'll always make sure it has glass bottles. It's going to take the genes from the barrels to the centrifuge, from the centrifuge to the gene indexer, and then from the it'll place it barrel 100 to ME interface to go back into the system, and then we have a max chest, which is a takes baby bee cages to the incubator 100, and then it will also take those bee cages out of the incubator 100 to the barrel 100 when your bee is perfectly done. This is stuff you do not want to copy in. It doesn't make a difference. It is just notes, and I will explain those here shortly. But this is the code. Like I said, it'll be available to download on my Discord. We'll hit done. That's running. Now we're going to take the label gun. If we click it, there's no labels, but if we shift click, we're going to pull the labels, and now we can shift and scroll. We can set ME interface by right-clicking. The max chest is this. Incubator 100 is here. Gene indexer is here. Dispenser is here. Centrifuge is there. The breeding chamber is there. The bottler is there. Barrel 100 is there. Barrel is there. Baby incubator is there. And that's all the labels. Once you've properly labeled everything, right-click into the Super Factory Manager, or just the Factory Manager, and that will push all your labels back in there. Now, this is not hooked up to the system, so it's not going to, and even if it was, but it's not hooked up to the system, so there's not going to be any power. It's not going to receive any of the treats. It's not going to receive any of that stuff right now. We are going to keep this one completely unfiltered for the time. Well, no, let's go ahead and we can actually fix all of this. And let me get these filter details in here. Okay, so in order for this to work, you're going to need pipe wrench. And we'll do this one first. This is the Incubator 100. Do I have any pipe upgrades? Okay, with the pipe upgrade, now you're going to add in your first filter. Remember, this is the Incubator 100, so this is an ME interface to the Incubator 100. The item tag you want is just going to be productive, right there, productive bees, honey treat. Your NBT data, it's a lot bigger of a string, and this one is posted in the code. Remember, do not paste the dashes. Those are simply comment accents to show that it's a comment. That is a lot that's going on here. But we just hit submit. Perfect. Now we'll come up to this one. This one is going to get gene indexer to barrel 100. Again, the item tag is just productive bees, gene. And then for NBT data, this one's actually very short. We're only concerned with purity 100. And that's it. This should now work, minus the redstone clock. And I'm going to make sure it works before I put the redstone clock in, because I don't want the dispenser. The redstone clock, it sends a signal to the dispenser to push out a bee every tick or so. I don't know how I'm going to have it set up. Either way, I don't have any bees. I don't want to push any bees right now. Right now, I want to get some bees breeding. Which I have my water bees are perfect. I also need to get my bee smash. See, I actually do need to get my bee smasher. I was mistaken. We need to get our first set of genes. So again, this isn't hooked up to the system, but it should manage everything manually. So I can turn that on. We can go ahead and get the clock in. Set it to 10. And then make sure you have some glass bottles. Alright, so the main thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and start getting my kamikaze bee in there. It's going to go slow, but I have my bottles in there. My magnet's too strong. But that's fine. That should have gone in there. Okay, something's wrong with my code. I'm not sure what's going on. That should have taken the squash bee material from there back into here. No? No. Okay. Well, one thing that I know I need to do... No. Alright. That's what that's for, and that's what that is. No, I need a crafting card in this one. Okay. And that's not going to get the honey treat until we create that honey treat. But let me find out why that squash bee material did not go into the gene indexer like I thought it was going to. Or into the centrifuge like I thought it was going to. Give me 1 second here. Alright, I don't know what's causing the issue. Let's try it again. I got my magnet turned off, so hopefully that will pick up. It's not picking up. Why aren't you picking up? Okay. But why aren't you squash bee material going into the powered centrifuge? Like, this should all... I made a mistake in my labeling. This is barrel 100. Not that one. That's not barrel. That's barrel. Now push those back in. Perfect! Now we have the squash bee material going right where it needs to go. So now we can hurry this up. Put that on 10. Throw that in there. That should have picked it up. That should have... You're stuck in there? Sweet. Alright, so in the breeding chamber, this is where we want to stick our water bees. So endurance and temper are both on normal. The main things we really want are going to be weather tolerance, any, and behavior meta-ernal. However, before we even get into breeding, I need to finish getting the kamikazes squashed. And yeah, I'm still waiting on these last couple of guys because their strength is a little better. Okay, so the baby incubator, we're going to pre-plumb that with some honey treats. It is incredibly slow at the very beginning. If you can afford speedier upgrades as far as your energy goes, do it. If you cannot afford it, just wait and be patient and try to use your time and bottle wisely on this machine until you get everything pretty much backstuffed. Alright, I think I got all the kinks worked out, and that should pick up everything now. Why it's dropping in freedom, I don't know. But we should be good now. And all of this will get started as soon as I get power over here. Which I think I'm ready to do. So, hey, why did you pick up? Weird. Let's see what happens when I link this thing together. We're not getting power. And I know exactly why. Alright, so for y'all that paid attention, I actually have one of these flux accessors, or I had. Where it went, I don't know, but we'll go ahead and make another one. That's the problem. I don't have flux being stored in my network. Oh, love the troubleshooting. Oh, look at that. Perfect. If I slap that right there... Oops. Almost had it. You're still not getting power. Why? What did I forget? Well, there's your problem. I've only got an item disk. I need to make myself so FE storage cell. 64K, 1K. I can tell you a 4K is massive in terms of my system. How about I do a 1K? Can I afford a 1K? Hardened insulating resin. That's probably going to be the hardest part. Alright, this is actually perfect. I should be able to get this real quick. And if I slap this in here, there it goes. And I'm out of power. Which means... Am I out of power? I'm out of power there, but... Oh, that drained everything. That drained everything. Let me turn everything off real quick. Whoo, buddy. Alright, so now we're gonna... Well, I was gonna teach the system these special honey treats, but these are only going to be for the water bees. So let's get a couple of honey treats. You place in your gene samples of very high. We'll go 1. We'll go 2. I just need it for these 2 water bees here. To make my life easier, I'll come back in here. I need more bee cages. Now, the really easy way to do this is to put your bee cage in here and put one of your honey treats in here. I believe... Yep, it's just very slow, so definitely gets you your time in a bottle. But now, ooh, that worked out perfectly. My bee came over here. If you see, it has very high any and meta-ernal, normal, normal. This is exactly what we wanted here. That's 1. Now we come back in here, we place our other water bee, which is our splashy bee, our honey treat. We're going to go 64 times, because I am really, really impatient for this thing. And we have our second bee. So now if we look in here, oh, I am not seeing that rose bushes can be in here. Can they not be? Okay, real quick. I think I figured it out. I am a Neanderthal. what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one out. If I can get this to work, then it can just do rose bushes, because I'm already crafting those for something else. What I forgot... Edit. Rose bush. I forgot to tell this thing. You're allowed to keep 64 in stock. And now it's working. Perfect! Nothing got saved, and if I come over here, nothing's in there. If I come in here, nothing's in there. If I come in here, nothing's in there. But if I go up here to jeans, I should have... Gene sample, normal. Meta-ernal, 100. Weather tolerance, any. Productivity, high. Those are the 4 stats that we need to put on a honey treat. So what we do... We come over here. Now we're going to teach the system how to make this special honey treat for our 100% bees. So we take the honey treat. We're going to take our productivity of very high, our meta-ernal, our temperance of normal, and our weather tolerance of any. We're going to program that. That's it. That's all we needed. This doesn't have anything yet. But if I say, let me get one of these special honey treats. There we go. We have a honey treat with very high meta-ernal, normal, and any weather tolerance. Which means now we filter this thing. And we say, I want 64 in stock at all times. Is it going to take a while? Absolutely. And then we stick that one there, and that should be... Wait. You actually might have something good. You have nothing good. Go away. All right. And there it is in all its glory. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bee Breeder 9000. It is one of my most prized possessions. And I only say prized possessions because... I sat down and I took the time to learn this particular system. I've been using everybody else's SFM codes, and it's been rather nice not having to deal with that headache. Which is why I'm going to let you guys download it off of my Discord, because why not? Sharing is caring, and this code makes life so much easier. You could change very minimal to fit your needs of your system, and you can just drop this straight in. The only thing that I actually need to get going is I forgot I have to put bee cages in here. And I'm glad I caught that, because I was just about to do some AFK time. All right. Let's speed it up just a little bit. Let's see what happens. Now, to be fair, I probably just ran out of power there. No! Ah, I forgot I have to keep honey treats in stock. Normal honey treats now. There we go. Now, let's do 256. That's probably too much for my system to handle. Yeah, it looks like it's too much for my system to handle. All right, guys, I'm going to let this AFK for a little bit. I'm going to let my resources build up just so I can at least get 5 of the special honey treats so I can get, hopefully, my first set of bees in the system. I don't know what I'm going to go with first, but this is the Bee Breeder 9000 inside of the Bee Hive 90,000? I don't know. Guys, this has been amazing. Truly, truly amazing experience to productive bees. By far, it does take a little bit to get going. It is especially harder in To the Skies. But once you get there, now I no longer have to worry about any of my bees. Oh no, her crown! It's turned off. But yeah, there it is, guys. That is the start of productive bees. Next episode, we will dive into bees just a little bit more. We've got to get the important bees, but this was the hardest part of the bee production, was getting the Bee Breeder 9000 going with the correct stats. That way, from this point on, all of the bees that we have are going to be, well, perfect stats for exactly what we want. I don't think this water bee ever hit. Oh, he did hit Meta Ernal. Let's throw him in the system. This has been an incredible journey to getting started in productive bees. I highly, highly recommend you check out the Bee Breeder 9000. Especially if you want something automated that will just make you perfect bees. All you have to do is drop in your bees. You get to see more of dropping in your bees in the next episode when we get more into bees. But this was a great start into bee production and getting max stats. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. As always, it's been a pleasure. Take it easy, and God bless.